we have, Trudeau says that we have, extremely important. Trudeau says we have no core identity. I'm going to show you what Trudeau's core identity is. I need that on. Okay, I'm just trying to, because it's blowing in the wind, so I have to make it that the papers go like so. Okay. Trudeau's actual name is from the first migrants here, and the name is not Trudeau. It is Truteau with a T. T-R-U-T-E-A-U-X. They were brought over. There was much Jesuit influence, and there was also Sulpician from France. Okay? Now, I want to preface this. My last name goes back to Normandy, France, okay? Secondly, I was raised, my mother was Catholic. I actually have an elderly nun in the family. So this is not to be biased against anyone, but I am, in fact, a reborn Christian. And I do believe that the temple of God is within people. Okay? It is not a church, but it is within people. When Jesus left, he said, the disciple says, "Where are you going, Lord? Why are you forsaking us?" He said, "Don't you know that I will send you the Holy Spirit? I will send you the Comforter who will lead you into all truth." Truth is what we need. Truth is our sword.
Woo! Yes. Woo!
So that's what we're here, to expose the darkness into the light. Okay, now we're unity, right? So give me a hand here just with some papers if you put that, because I don't want to. Okay. So, again, back to Peter Bilderberg. Meet the Pope's Bilderberg, UN guru. Pope Francis' affinity for global governance was evident during this recent trip to the United States with his remarks on the arrival at the White House, in echoing the embrace of the global warming. They're into everything: global warming, climate change, and migration. At his historic speech at the United Nations endorsing the UN's new Agenda 2030. Okay? There's another document. Now, I have taken the time to list all these documents on another page. Okay, so I want you to look in and investigate the Bilderberg groups, because Macron, it was just a year before he was elected, he attended a Bilderberg meeting. Very interesting. Okay, so Pope Francis assured journalists he is not a socialist. Ha 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 ha. I could beg to differ. All right, I'm going to go through these quickly because I know there's other speakers, but I just want I want to bait you to all investigate these avenues further, because history is repeating. And as my bracelet says, lest we forget, it is not just a slogan. Our history is of vital importance to moving forward, to understanding this. It's not, yes, Trudeau is a creep, but it's not just, he's playing on cue. He is a puppet. He was appointed. Why Canada will become a dictatorship under Trudeau. The leader of the party does what he wants when he wants, and no one dares to question him. Would a Prime Minister Trudeau arbitrarily whip the vote and outlaw certain moral questions? Okay, so that's another article. I want to get to the good stuff. I stand here not only as a suffragette, but I stand here as a soldier's daughter. My father fought at Normandy Bay against tyranny. I stand here as a suffragette this year, marking the 100th year anniversary, May 24th, of women voting federally in this country. I stand here as a Christian soldier. 2019 years since God gave his only begotten Son, my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I stand here as a Protestant, last year marking the 500th year of the birth of Protestantism and free speech. Thank you, Martin Luther. Now, you all need to get, we didn't have a big celebration over Martin Luther Day, did we? It was October 31st. It's overcast and shadowed with Halloween. But it is an extremely, extremely important day. And it has been swallowed up and gobbled up by the powers that be, because we don't realize that we were under Vatican and papal dictatorship from 0 to 1500 until Martin Luther broke out of it. Because if I was doing right now what I'm doing today, I would be burned on a fascist stake. That is the fascist symbol, which Antifa should do a little bit of research and understand that it is a bundle of twigs and it is an axe, okay? And that is to symbolize nobility. And they would burn you if you'd say anything against. And that's why it is of vital importance that I stand here today and I say these things, because the children of tomorrow will not know the wiser. Our schools are not teaching children our history. Trudeau, history, family crest, and coat of arms. Early origins of the Trudeau family. The surname was first found in Poitou, a part of Aquitaine, where the family centuries and held a family seat with the lands and manor. The family were well established. Several members of the family distinguished themselves through their contribution, lived and rewarded with lands, titles, and letters patent, confirming their nobility. This is what we have as a prime minister, okay? There is a connection to Europe, trust me. I'm sorry if I'm jumping around here, but this is very, I can't tell you how important this information is. Okay, this is the Pope. I'm jumping now. Yeah, because we didn't know if this rally was going to go on, or should I say protest, because the protest is not over. Protestant Reformation is not over. This is the Pope, and people saying his Marxist, he practices social liberation theology, which is basically wealth redistribution. And that's why you have the migration, okay? Because South America was invaded, and its gold was stolen, and its culture was stolen. And that's why he wants to be nice now to the Latin Americans, because of what was done to them there. And that's where liberation theology comes from. And where is he himself from? I believe it's Argentina. He's certainly from South America. The Pope's liberation theology is the basis of Marxism, the labor theory of value, and the false exploitation theory. Christianity is not about creating a perfect world for the collective. Justice is to each their own, not redistribution through violence.
That's right. Good.
Now, I encourage you all to look up Trudeau.org. Okay, so going back into our history, the Protestant Reformation, shortly after it was implemented, and Martin Luther posted his 95 grievances on the door, which birthed democracy. It birthed the English language. That's how important it was. William Tyndale, who wrote the Bible, was strangled by Thomas More. He risked his life to ship over 8,000 copies of the King James Bible across the English Channel. This is a true man of God who lays down his life and makes the sacrifices as many and all of us do here. Now this is the Council of Trent, and you all need to read up on it because it is a fork in the road. But immediately after the Protestant Reformation, the Vatican came out with the Council of Trent, and they said, shit, we're losing our power. We got to get control again. 500 years ago. At the same time, the Jesuit organization was formed. And as a side note here, and it's not a side note, the Jesuit college is about a block up the road here. Okay? Jesuits have played a major role in Canadian history as well as North American and European. Le Moyne College. Le Moyne, okay, which you're going to find quite interesting, Canadians, this is your history. Le Moyne was Jesuit trained. Le Moyne is a baron that Queen Elizabeth recognized his legacy, and we have a baron. We actually have nobility that the Queen Elizabeth ordained here in 1880. It's now passed over to a grant. But get this, we have part of a monarchy here. We have a legacy.
Well, we have the Queen.
Okay. Here's another page on Etienne Trudeau. This information on Etienne Trudeau comes from the, and also the name changes to about several different variations. He was a master of great works because he came here, he built the churches, he built the Catholic convents, he built the houses, etc., etc., etc. He was one of the first settlers here, and he was on a mission. Because he didn't only stop here, he ended up down in Louisiana. Do you know why Louisiana is called Louisiana? Anybody?
After King Louis?
Louisiana is called Louisiana after King Louis XIV. And King Louis was the king of France. At that same time, Richelieu, Cardinal Richelieu, was the cardinal there. And you know what he did? He made it his mission to get rid of all the other lower nobility and make the king of all. And King Louis XIV is a huge person in history. Now Louisiana, yeah, well we got to talk about slavery first, okay? Because I know we all like to say, get Trudeau going, but I think this is going to hit at the nerve of Trudeau. This is his core identity. Many of the Trudeaus of the past signed themselves Trudeau de Longueuil, thus showing their affinity with the knightly family of de Longueuil of France, who are also of the Le Moynes, from who the Ibervilles, the Benilvilles, the Charteaus, the Chavilles, blah, 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 France bore in the 18th century the title of Count. Okay? So there you have the connection. Le Moyne, Trudeau. The old form of spelling was Trudeau. T-R-U-D-O is another spelling. And the family crest shows two battling rams. And apparently it means to thrust. Now, do you feel you're getting the thrust, Canada? Yeah.
I think it's full of water.
No. I have to get, listen, I'm sorry, there's one thing and I'm going to let you all go. If you look at Etienne Trudeau, it looks like a walking copy of Trudeau. It's very interesting. Google this. Because what they did is what they're doing to Canada. They are creating a diverse culture like they did in Louisiana. Eventually the Spanish took over. That's where you get the Creole language from. But they also had slaves down there. So Trudeau actually comes from I'm not saying him personally, but his lineage went to Louisiana where they had slavery. And the Sulpicians that were trained from France came to Canada and North America to help them organize and manage diverse populations. Now, where have you heard that before? One of Etienne Trudeau's children, his son, had 30 slaves down in St. Louis. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Because what I'm trying to briefly, and I apologize that I don't have it into a speech format. Well, you know what? We can share the bad news every day of the week. But until you get to the heart of the matters, you will not fully understand why it is happening. Okay? So there was a Trudeau plantation down in Louisiana. So what I want to get to is that you need to understand, go back in your history, because God freed the captives. God freed the slaves. This isn't about color, it's about your spirit. And this world is temporal. And we need to expose these things, the darkness, into the light here.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, hold on. And I encourage you to all look this up. I'm going to post this online. And anyone who wants to follow these links and learn, because I assure you, this is all being done to us by design. And it is going to get incrementally worse and worse and worse until we expose the dark deeds. Thank you very much.